For the past month or two, I've uploaded a lot of videos and most of them have been centered around the Create mod, and I think that it's finally time for me to go ahead and make a tutorial series for you guys from what I've learned. But before we get into that, I want to thank you for 800 subscribers and also announce the launch of Season 2 of my Minecraft server. All of the details to join should be in the description of this video or in the Discord server. So if you want to use these tips I'm about to show you to get started on the Create mod Minecraft server, then go ahead and join there. And now back to the tips that I'm going to be showing to you today. Well, more like a guide. It's not really tips because it's kind of necessary steps that you have to take. We're going to go from the raw resources over here and all the way down there. You see we have a fully automatic crop farm for this first video. Just a basic farm that'll help you get started with anything that you want to do regarding the Create mod and start understanding things. Now, starting off with the very basics, andesite and iron are the two resources you need to get started with pretty much everything, because you need to make andesite alloy, which is used in almost every recipe in at least some part of it. So in your world, you want to find some andesite blocks and some iron, and then come over to a crafting table and turn the iron into nuggets, and then use the andesite with the iron to make an andesite alloy. Like I said, the alloy is used for pretty much everything there is, and it's a very important, actually it's very essential to building in anything with the Create mod. The next step I'll show you is casings, and then we'll move on to power and machines, because casings are another part of the fundamentals for the Create mod. So you're going to need some logs and an axe, and to get a casing, you want to take a log, strip it, and put andesite alloy on it, and that gives you a casing. Now if you come over here, once you have these two basic resources, this is a water wheel, and that is what's used to power this press. Without any power, this press is not spinning. I'll quickly get into what power is. You see how this water wheel has a gear shaft or a shaft in the middle of it? We can extend that outwards, and anything that's connected to this will spin through these little shafts that these blocks have inside of them. So you see how this is like the same as that over there? Anything we connect to this will get powered. Now the way you power the water wheels is over here with water, but let me first show you how to craft them. A basic water wheel is a shaft surrounded by planks like this, and you can upgrade it to the next level with the big water wheel, which is double the power, by surrounding it again in planks. So once we have our water wheels and we have constructed a press, which is the next step in the list, a press follows this recipe here. This is where things start to get a little bit more resource intensive, a whole iron block for this. It's not horrible, but once you start factoring in the iron for the casings and the shafts, it gets a little bit expensive for people who are just starting out. So you have your mechanical press, here, and you have your water wheels, and you go to put your water wheel on the back of your press as to, power it, but it's not doing anything because you need some water. And for the modern water wheels, in the version that I'm in, which is the most recent version of the Create mod, all that needs to be touching is one moving water source, and this thing will get power. So once you have that one moving water source attached, it can also be in a horizontal way like this. You see the water comes around and it spins it. It can also be horizontal or vertical like that. But once this press is being powered, we can then take iron, which is our base ingredient for most recipes for now, and we can put it underneath the press, and it will slowly move down and press it into an iron sheet. Now you can also do this with gold to get gold sheets, and gold sheets are used to craft your first tools that you'll need for anything in the Create mod. So the first one is the wrench, which can be used to rotate any of the Create blocks, and anything that's connected to the Create mod using the wrench can be shift right clicked and instantly picked up without using any durability on the wrench, and it just goes right into your inventory. So anything that is from the Create mod, and even some vanilla items like some redstone components. Now the goggles go in a head slot or something similar to a head slot if you have a trinkets mod that can equip a helmet and goggles at the same time. But with the goggles, you can look at things and see information about them. Like you see, this is 256 SU, which is stress units. So that's how much stress units this is making. Whereas with the big water wheel, it makes 512 stress units. And now stress units work by, if you have more machines hooked up to this line, or you use gearboxes or something we get to in the future, the more machines you have hooked up, the more stress units it uses. See, this one uses 64. This one also uses 64, and we have 256. So we can continue to put these on, but once we get to this one, it becomes overstressed, and this water wheel can no longer power all of these because this adds up to be more than 256. So right now this is perfect. It's using all 256, but if we add one more, like I said, overstressed. That's a basic definition of stress units. I'll get more into it in a further episode, but for now, that's all you really need to understand. Now I want to go into a little bit about gear shifting, or spinning gears up to be faster. So these are the two cogs, the small and the large, and this is a shaft. I've already used it before. And this little thing right here that I've built spins up this slow moving cog to be this speed here. So when I put iron underneath, it gets pressed a lot faster than the other one, which is just moving slower. So you see, but this one now now takes 256 stress units because it's moving faster through here. And if I add another one, just to show you guys what stress units are, it gets broken. So now you know what stress units are. You know how to speed gears up using configurations like this, which is just large cogwheel, small cogwheel onto the large one, and then the large one gets put into another small one, and you just keep repeating that until it could be max speed. You see how this is faster than this, and that's basically how you do it. If you have any extra andesite casings, all you need is one because it doesn't use up the actual casing. You can place casings on top of blocks like this so the shaft doesn't go through and it's just a cogwheel. So if we wanted to place another gear here, we can, even though these are two different speeds. That helps with compacting this down to be a smaller size. Okay, you know how to make andesite alloy, you know how to make casings, water wheels, you know how all of the power works for the basic power generation, which is water wheels, goggles, wrench, gears, cogs, how to speed things up, what stress units are, and now I'm going to do a little tutorial on the fully automatic wheat or crop farm. Okay, I think I've got everything we need to make the automatic crop farm. This is a little example that I'll get to in a little bit, but we have to build the other one from the ground up over here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is place a water wheel like this and power it on one side so that it's spinning. And you need to remember the direction that this is spinning, because next we need to take a mechanical bearing and put it on top without shift clicking on top of it so it's facing towards us. Now mechanical bearings are a little bit more advanced, but for now all you need to know is if you click on them without anything in your hand, anything attached to the front, let's say you have a grass block attached, will begin to spin like this. And if you unclick it with an empty hand, it stops spinning. So we're going to use that and use mechanical harvesters to harvest some crops. Now harvesters are create mod blocks like this, and if you have a plot of crop here and there's a crop grown and you move the harvester across, it harvests and replants the seeds so that there's now, if it's, let's say it's wheat, you get the wheat and it's put into the inventory behind it, and this thing can keep moving and harvest a bunch of them. And we're going to use that to go in a circle. So once you have this down with your bearing set above the wheel and you have noted down the way that the wheel is spinning, the easiest way I like to do this is, let's say we got 1, 2, 3, nothing advanced, and we're going to want to place a block on top of this over one, and then a whole line of blocks behind it like this. Place our mechanical harvesters behind it and break the blocks. Now, this is where it might be difficult to get an item, because at least in the early game, slime is not something that you can easily come by. But you're going to need the super glue item, which is 2 slime balls, iron nugget, and iron sheet. I showed you how to make an iron sheet over there. The easiest way that I found in my playthrough was to do something with millstones, where I crush a fern into green dye, and then I turn that green dye into lime dye, and I combine that with dough, which is just wheat flour and water, and wheat flour is just wheat millstoned. You combine dough and lime dye and you get a slime ball, and you do that twice and you get 2 to make the glue. Now you take the glue and you're going to drag it all the way across all of the harvesters and break these underneath blocks for now, just so I can show you. You probably won't want to break those in the actual farm, but if I click this, you see how the harvester is moving? We click it again and it stops. So I'm going to fill in all of the grass underneath the harvester in a 3x3 like this. 3, 3, 3. And all of this dirt gets filled in for now. Now once you have all that done, I just put a water source here so all of our farmland is watered, but we're going to take a hoe and turn all of this into farmland so that we can place crops on it once we get the rest of the harvester stuff set up. So now that this is all turned into farmland, you can take your seeds and plant, but for now I'm just going to show you how to set up the way to extract items from the harvesters. You're going to need your glue again. You're going to take a chest and place it somewhere connected to the harvesters. On top works like there. Take your glue, right click on the chest, right click on that, and now the chest is connected to the harvester. So anything that this thing picks up goes into the chest, but we need to take items out of there automatically. We don't want to sit around and wait for it. So if we take a portable item interface and we place it on the edge of the harvesters like this, facing outwards, we can also glue that to that. And then we skip a block and we place a chute with another portable item interface on top. So there's a block in between them. Without that block, it won't work. And the chutes act as a form of hopper that cannot go sideways. If you understand what I'm getting at, it just moves items downwards. So what happens is this thing goes around, it picks up the wheat and the seeds, and as it's going around, it puts it in the chest. And then when it gets to this station over here, these two things connect. All the items flow through here down into this chest, and you have an automatic wheat farm because you just wait for the wheat to grow. We can go ahead and plant all of our crops so I can show to you that this works. Another thing that you might want to do is, you see how this, you can't really put your crops under here. So I'm going to show you how to start it from the water source block over here. So once you have your empty hand, you right click on this and it starts to move and you have an automatic crop farm. I'll show you that it works using some bone meal to grow the wheat real quick. So if we have some wheat here and we have some here, it's going to harvest this, place it in the chest, and then over here our wheat is in the chest, and once it starts, it picks up the next set, and on its way back around, it should drop off the wheat. Yep, there's more wheat in here, and this will just keep going forever because the water wheel doesn't require any inputs to create power. In more advanced stuff like with steam engines, and in the next video, hopefully, I can get into more things with belts and mixers and everything. That takes a little bit more power, and you might want to build a steam engine. But for now, this is all the basics. So you have an infinite source of food, so you can go out and collect more iron and andesite. But I think that's the basics for this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you want to join a server where I play actively and I can help you out with any of these farms, join the Discord, which gives you information on how to join the Minecraft server. It's public, open to anyone. So I hope I see you there, but that's all the time I have for this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.